Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. Presented by Carolina Lightweights from Gypsy. When the action begins in the studio, our referees for tonight's event are Elgato Azul and Carolina Real Streamers. For the viewers in attendance and Facebook and YouTube users around the world, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Live from the Elgato Azul TV studio in Louisville, Texas, it's time! What's up, slime lovers? I'm your host, Chris, a.k.a. Elgato Azul. Partner in slime over here is Mr. Jamie Dunn, Carolina Lightweights.
What's up? What's up, brother?
Welcome to the slime show, baby.
Oh, man. I've been looking forward to this one, brother.
Yeah, it should be a good one. So tonight we're going to be talking about good advice, bad advice, how to decipher. See a lot of bad advice on social media. We saw one this week about a graph pick, which got me and Jamie talking. So maybe we can help some of you guys with fish identification, but we're going to talk about all things advice oriented, taking good advice, who to listen to, what kind of guys that I like to listen to, types of people Jamie's learned from, and kind of how to decipher what's smoke and mirrors and what's the real deal. So
that's it, man. That's it. Y'all know us, guys. We're going to bring it to you. We're going to tell you the truth. So here we go.
We're going to keep it real. We may upset some people tonight, but that's what we do. We keep it real, and we probably piss off a few people. But before we get started, tonight we are going to spin this wheel. We're going to get this Operation Vets with Nets raffle knocked out. It's been a long, hard fundraiser over here at the Gamble residence. So we've got, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 raffles that were not filled tonight. We're going to get those raffled off. We've got a Richard Ray fishing trip on the mighty James River, Michael Harris fishing trip up in North Carolina, a Ronnie Johnson fishing trip up on the James River for flatheads. We got a North Texas fishing guide trip here in North Texas. That one almost filled up. We got an Alexander's taxidermy service raffle. That one got pretty full. And then we got the Dieter Melhorn trip number 2, which didn't feel too good, but appreciate everybody. I said September 1st comes, we're going to roll these things and give them away. So it may take us a few spins to get through some of these guys, but bear with us and we'll get it done as quickly as possible. It looks like we've raised about $8,500. So appreciate everybody's help who's helped me put this dang ass whip on. But proud to have helped. I'm glad it's over. So let's get this thing wrapped up. Tonight we're going to spin the wheel. I'm going to do it from my iPad because I've got a bunch of graph picks and stuff loaded to try to help some of you guys tonight with fish identification, bait identification, and fish size and stuff like that. So let's see here. First raffles for Richard Ray. It's got 20 spots. $20 spots, guys. Good luck, players, for the Richard Ray raffle. This is raffle number 6. And the winner is lucky number 8. Lucky number 8. That is nobody. We're spinning again. So we've got empty spots, and I didn't go through these wheels and add names, so we're just going to roll it till we hit somebody. Lucky number 17. Nobody. Still rolling. $13, Ron Thomas. Congratulations, Ron. You are the big winner. Ron Thomas.
Congratulations.
Fish with the legend, Richard Ray, on the James River. I had in on that one. I was going to try to go fish up there, but doesn't look like I get in on that one. So, Ron Thomas. Congratulations, Ron. Appreciate everybody else that got in on that raffle. Next raffle is raffle number 10. That is for Michael Harris trip, guided fishing trip for 2, Carolina Hog Chasers. Fisheries include Gaston, Kerr, and Roanoke Rapids. So this one's got 30 spots. Actually, only 5 people bought in, so we'll just do, I'm just going to do 12 spots for it. So the bottom didn't get filled. Type in 12 spots. All right. Good luck, players. And the lucky winner is lucky number 2. Lucky number 2. Nobody. Spinning again. Lucky number 3, Trinity Outdoors, Randall Jeffries. Congratulations, Randall.
Yes, congratulations, brother.
Trinity Outdoors. Got you down, bro. Next one's for Ronnie Johnson. We'll try to get through these as quickly as possible. This is raffle number 13. Raffle number 13. It's got 20 spots, but I'm also going to put 19 because 20 didn't get filled. All right. Good luck, players. And the lucky winner is 15. That's nobody. Still rolling. Lucky 13. Bear Jason. Jason Bear. Congratulations, Jason.
Yeah, congratulations.
You won a trip up on the Mighty James. That is Shitty Fisherman, one of my buddies. He brought his son fishing on the War Machine this weekend. Got his boy a PB, baby.
Heck yeah, man. That's
Got
what
him
I'm talking about.
Week Award too. All right. Next, we got North Texas Fishing Guide trip. This is a raffle number 19. Man, we put on a lot of raffles. There it is. This one has 30 spots. About 2/3 of it got filled. So let's see here. Good luck, players. And the winner is lucky number 4, Kelly Witten. That's a gift from Ray Duran. So congratulations, Kelly.
Yes.
Kelly Witten. Ray Duran. All right. Alexander's Taxidermy Service. This is raffle number 25. We got 2 left to do, guys. Bear with me. Alexander's Taxidermy Service. It had 25 spots. We'll do 20 since the 5 didn't fill. All right. Good luck, players. We're high tech over here. Lucky number 7. Spinning again. That's a nobody win. Lucky number 11. That's nobody.
Chris, you get a lot of practice with that wheel, brother.
I'm breaking a sweat over here. My fingers cramping. Lucky number 5. Nobody. Come on, man.
Somebody win this thing.
Lucky number 13. That's Brian Burrows. Congratulations, Brian.
Yes. Congratulations, my friend.
All right. Last but not least, Dieter Melhorn, trip number 2. That's raffle number 27. And all these numbers are spread out. This one's going to take a while. So 30 raffle spots. 29 is the last number. Hopefully we get lucky and this gets hit on the first one. 29. Good luck, players. Nobody. $20. 19. Rich Segura. Congratulations, Richie, you lucky son of a gun.
Heck
Like
yeah,
you head to
Rich.
South Carolina, you might as well stop in and go fish with Jamie so you can actually go catch something big. I had to do it. All right, Rich Segura. Congrats, Rich. All right, boys, girls. Glad that's over. I'm glad Jamie got a kick out of that. We like to have fun. Sometimes it's at other people's expense. So.
Man, a blast, a blast.
All right.
It fits our show tonight.
38 awesome people in here. Let's run through this list real quick. Jeff Martin, my hometown boy, he's a winner. Won him one of these raffles. Got him a Mad Cats reel, I believe. Dustin Clark, welcome in, bro. He's been smoking them down there in Louisiana. He's about to go fish the big King Cat tournament down at the Lock de la Alamein or whatever they call it, catfish capital of the world. And I'd like to go fish down there. Not good timing for a kid in school. So Micah Burkhart, King of Tennessee, staying on them. Jeff Martin, ×2. Operation Vets with Nets. Rich Segura, the big winner of tonight. Welcome in, bro. Paul Story, welcome in, Paul. Appreciate your support, man. Paul was a big giver on this. He donated big, and we converted it into Mad Catz gear and raffled it all off. So appreciate you, Paul. Big help, bro. Awesome. Awesome. Super giving. Appreciate you, buddy. Walt McCorkle, Operation Vets with Nets teammate. Welcome in, Walt. I think you'll be going down to fish with Rich on that trip, if I'm not mistaken. Eagle Eyes Tienda, our Texas chapter lead for Operation Vets with Nets. Jesse Ogden, welcome in, bro. Alex, Texas Fishing, welcome in, buddy. We got Bendon Tips Catfishing. I'm going to fish a tournament with him. I'm not sure exactly when. I think it's November-ish. Patrick Gilliland, our Carolina Lakeweights teammate. Ed Jenkins, Operation Vets with Nets, baby. Believe he's down in Georgia. We got Corey Whaley. What's up, bro? We got Southern Streams. That seems like a new name. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
welcome in, bro.
That's the first time I've heard that name, I believe.
Evan Warden, welcome in, Evan. We got Gordon David Phillips. Welcome in, buddy. Dan Weldon, big winner. Welcome in, Dan. Joshua Davis, welcome in, bro. Off the Hook, welcome in, Ted. How you doing, buddy? Queen V Honey, welcome in. Moving on down, Richard Gadget Green down there catching bait all day. Those are tough days, man. It still beats sitting in the office, though. Hooked on Kermit, another big winner. Welcome in, bro. Trent Williams, Smackdown, baby. We got Michael Letty. Michael, where you been, buddy? Ray G. Duran. Ray, one of your people won. Kelly Witten, congrats. I'll get a hold of you on Messenger. We'll figure out. I don't know that I have her as saved as a friend, so I may have to come through you. Setting hooks and crossing eyes. Welcome in, buddy. Matt Mosley, the fishing fool, out smoking them striped bait today. Jeff P. Stinking. I always laugh at that one. Michael Purdue, one of my Texas slime brothers. Welcome in. Vess Cooks, another one of my Texas boys. Welcome in, Vess. Leland, another one of our Texas Operation Vets with Nets guys. Man, Texas strong in here. Victor Ramirez, welcome in, Victor. James Brandon, Chief of Police, my fishing buddy. Welcome in, buddy. And Jason Bear. We got his son a PB Saturday night. So
heck yeah, man. Congratulations on that. Chris, before you get going, man, I want to send out a big shout out for I won that grunt call this week, and I want to send out a big shout out, man, to Cripple Creek right there, game calls.
Yeah, good looking game calls.
I've got that bad boy right here, and I'm going to put it to use for deer season this year, man.
Can he make a catfish call for me?
Man, I tell you what, if they could, we'll get that bad boy made right out and get it up on the line. But who needs it when we catch and fish the way we do, brother?
Yeah, somebody needs to slip a banana on my boat for me to do bad.
Oh, man, I think they took my boat. Hell, I ain't been able to do no fishing. We've been busy.
I actually blew out a seal on my hydraulic rod this past trip. So I ordered a kit, man, and the old $30 seal kit ain't $30 anymore, guys. It was a $160 seal kit. Then I had to buy the puller. I had to buy the bleed tube. Ended up being like $400 for me to do it. But boat repair place is so busy right now. It's like, it's a 30-minute repair. I just need to get the part. So tonight, guys, we're going to be talking about advice. Good advice versus bad advice. There's tons. Everybody wants to give advice. Who do you believe? You go look when someone's asked for advice on a post, it'll give you 10 different answers, all different. You'll have two guys agree, two guys on the complete opposite end. Who do you believe? Who can you believe really at this point? So I think there's a lot of experts. I see a lot of experts, cat fishermen. Then you go look at their page. It's like all political posts and like, are you a fisherman or a politician? Because looks like you're into politics more than fishing. So, but we're going to get into some of that. We're going to show some graph picks tonight, try to help some guys determine the difference. Seeing a lot of guys think that catfish are bait. What's the difference between a catfish and a scaled fish? We'll get into that a little bit. So I found, Jamie, great advice comes from people that have been doing it a long time, people that have been around doing it a long time. I tend to be quiet about things that I'm not real sure about, but that's not today. It's like somebody gets a little bit of success and they all of a sudden they know everything there is to know about it. So
that's it. I'm not gonna. We're just gonna put it out there. That's what we do. That's what we do to shows. We want to give the best advice that we can, stuff that we know about, stuff that we've used, stuff that we've seen. That's the only advice we're gonna get. That's what you're gonna get here is the truth. I mean, so we're gonna give you what works for us.
One thing you won't hear from us is some textbook thing. Now we have had shows where I did. Showed a report and a study on telemetry, telemetry studies on catfishing and data, stuff like that. But what we talk about is what we've learned on the water from other anglers and from being out there doing it. So that's what we're going to do tonight. And hopefully we can lay to rest some of you guys' questions on some of this stuff. When I see some of these guys that are giving advice, I'm thinking to and I know it's wrong. I'm thinking to myself, how long has this guy been doing it? And why would he offer up this advice if he's really has no clue what he's talking about? So I don't know why people are like that, but it's a different day and age we live in. And some people just like to think they know a lot, I guess. So
yeah, we've seen what they call a lot of overnight success. People that also, quote, quote, knows it all.
Yeah, you catch 2 or 3 good fish a year, and that makes you an expert.
Yeah. And it's like, Chris, like I said, there's some good advice on YouTube.
There's a ton of good advice, especially for guys just starting out.
Yeah.
Techniques, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Some basic techniques. It'll get you pointed in the right direction for sure.
Yep. And
I'm not saying it's all garbage. There's a lot you can learn, even from guys that aren't really good. But I do see a lot of information that's leading guys down the wrong path, especially when we're talking about graphs, patterning fish. I can tell that they're going off something that they've read or heard somewhere, and they're just regurgitating the textbook line or whatever. So I look at how long somebody's been doing it, how successful they are at it, and then how consistent are they with that success, and that's going to determine whether I want to listen to them or not. I learned from a ton of guys that were willing to help me that've been doing it forever. I learned real quick, I need to shut my mouth and listen to this guy because he knows what he's doing. Now, you may not fish like that guy. Just because he's great doesn't mean you're going to go duplicate what he's doing, but you can learn something from Jamie. When you go fish with Jamie, you can learn a lot from him, and you might not use it all, but you can use a few things from him and then go fish with Micah Burkhart. You learn some stuff from him. You go fish with Dustin Clark. You might learn a few things and pick up a few things from each guy along the way. And I think a big part of fishing is figuring out what works for you.
Yeah.
You know, just because something works great for another guy, if you go duplicate it, yeah, it can work good for you, but is that really how you enjoy fishing? So a lot of guys don't want to fish like I do. I go scan for 2.5 hours. A lot of guys like, I can't do that. I can't do that.
And you're right, Chris. It's basically going to come down to this. You're going to have to write your own book, your own knowledge, your own book, which, a lot of people up here, I'm just using the book as a base there. But once you get all this advice, you put it together, you put it to use, you write your own book. Only you going to know what's right, and what's wrong, what to cipher through. It's like that funnel. You got to let it come through, have the filter, and then cipher it out the other side to know.
Are you really going to learn it unless you actually go put it to use and then it works for you? Because if you're like me and I see somebody do something, until it actually works for me, I'm questioning everything. Should I be doing, am I doing this right? Should I be doing, but then once you put it into play and it actually works for you game time on the, on the lake or on the river, then it's like, okay, light bulb. Okay, I'm going to add that. That worked for me. And then you can add that into repertoire. So one thing that I do see a lot, though, misconceptions are with the graph. Guys are like, they're all constantly asking us to do some stuff with the graph, do a show with the graph. So tonight we're going to do some stuff with the graph. A lot of it's going to be 2D because that's going to help you to determine what species you're looking at. I use a hummingbird. It might not be the same if you're using, a Garmin or
a Lowrance or
Lowrance. The color palettes are different. So I'm going to show you what I'm using and how I determine. And then I've got some screenshots also of some side image. So I'll show you fish size on some of these, bait in relation to what it looks like on 2D, and then we'll hopefully y'all can get a little insight on that, because I know a lot of you guys probably already know a lot of this stuff, but a lot of guys don't, and a lot of guys just pretend they do, because I get them on the boat and they're like, man, I had no idea that's what that was. So that's what we're going to do. And let me see if I can pull up. We're going to add this to stage. I got to be in here so y'all can hear me. So let me pull up. I've got to be able to get to this other screen. I thought I had all this laid out, but I guess I didn't. Oh, shit. Sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties. Photographs.
Here are some images of multis from the web.
No thanks. Photos. Photos. All right, there we go. And all right, can y'all see this? I may add Jamie back again. Jamie, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Just trying to get through this, man. Technical crap's not my forte. So, all right, I got that pulled up. Let me pull this one up. Y'all can hear me, correct?
We got you, brother.
All right. All right, what we got in this picture is, let me make sure I'm on the first picture here. Yep. First picture, I'm just going to go through these. I don't have them in any specific order. I just pulled some off my phone. I'm going to go through some of these as the fish that we caught. So we were on a live stream this day, and I said, "Oh, look, there's about a 40-pounder over there to the side of the boat. It's about 50 feet to the right side of the boat. If the rod goes down, it's going to go down in about 2 minutes, and it'll be a 40-pounder." And somebody on the live stream said, "Ain't no freaking way." And it wasn't 2 minutes. The rod went down. And if y'all can see this arrow, this is the fish right here. So you can see I'm going 0.5. When I'm going 0.5, if my graph's set to 1, this fish is double the size that it actually is, because the algorithm, it thinks I'm going 1, but you can't set your graph speed at 0.5. So I'm going 1. It's stretching it out double. There's the fish I caught. It went right around 40 pounds. So that's one thing. That side image will tell you exactly what size the fish is and which rod it's going to hit. And if you know how fast you're going and how far your rod's back, you kind of know when it'll go down. And as you start catching these fish you see on the graph, you'll start to be able to call the size of your fish. That was proof. On this picture here, this is going to be a picture of bait. It's going to be catfish. So what we're looking at here is these are catfish. All right. And the way that you're going to be able to tell what a catfish is the catfish, they don't have scales, right? They're a soft-bodied fish, but they got a bony head. So here's the bone in its head. Here's the soft body behind it. It's red is a hard return on a hummingbird. Yellow is a medium. Green is a light return. So as the more dense it is, it's going to show up red. Here we go. We got red. Over here, we've got probably a scaled fish, some scaled fish. Here's a decent sized catfish. Up here, it's going to be bait. These fish are pushing this bait up. Here's a decent catfish, another decent catfish, probably some scaled fish. You're going to see a lot of times these fish are all running together. And they'll orient underneath this bait, and the bait's pushed up here trying to get away. You got some smaller catfish up here chasing. They're up over the top of them. These are smaller shad, and these little guys are probably up here trying to feed on these smaller shad. These bigger fish are underneath here trying to feed on these larger shad. And as you get used to seeing this kind of stuff, the way I started figuring out exactly what I was looking at is I would drop my cast net on them, and I would catch exactly what I'm looking at on sonar. So that's a pretty good indicator of what you're looking at. So here's another picture. These are going to be smaller size catfish. You got some good ones laying on the bottom, and you can't really tell what they are. But carp don't lay on the bottom. There's only really, this is not a cold front scenario. These are just big fish laying flat on the bottom. You're going to get a hard return. You really can't see the tail. Here's the tail of one here. Can't tell which way they're facing. This one's probably facing this way. And they're feeding on threadfin shad. These are micro shad, very tiny, almost not even registering. They got a little bit of red. They're registering, but these are going to be this year's hatch shad. And I don't typically fish this, but I saw some big fish laying in the mud, so I fished it. And, I know they're fairly active because these shad are up trying to get the hell away from them. So that's something also to look at. How far away is the shad from the bait? Doesn't mean you have to always fish it that way, but see if there's anything on side scan. So here's what they look like on side image. This was a fairly breezy day. They're all oriented into the wind. You can kind of determine how you're going to, if you need to drag it. Sometimes you can drag against the wind. If they're all lined up like cordwood, you need to bring it to them, and your catch rate will go up considerably like that.
Yep.
Moving on. All right, this is a bait picture with some fish around it. Let me zoom in here. These are going to be more threadfin shad. Got some decent fish around them. These are catfish. Here's the head. Here's the tail behind it. Here's the head. Here's the tail behind it. Here's the head. Here's the tail behind it. And these are not very big catfish, but I see this thing pretty large laying on the bottom. I know carp don't lay on the bottom, so it looks fairly like it's got a pretty decent hard return, which makes me think it's a big catfish. Now, I see something back here. It looks like a broken line. That's probably the tail going and stretching back this way. And if you'll pay attention over time, you'll start to see what you're looking at. So this is what they look like, what those shad are looking like on your side image. And it's this right here. These are threadfin shad, not very big ones either. So not micro shad, but not very big ones. I'm just going to try to go through these photos fairly quickly, guys. Here's the winter pattern. Okay, this is going to be when the water hits 50. This is going to be, after a pretty decent cold front. You can see the water depth here is 40 feet down in the channel. Top of the channel's probably, 40, 35 feet, 34 feet. What we're looking at here is a little bit of everything. So what you're seeing here is going to be white bass. You're going to see bait laying down flat on the ground. Mixed all in here is going to be white bass. As we move over here, you got more white bass up in here. You get down in here, it's pure gizzard shad. I know you really can't tell what the hell it is, but I actually dropped my net on this. I was looking for bait. So I hit right here on the edge is where I was aiming. And let me see if I've got a picture of what I pulled up. So this is all, I would say, medium-sized gizzard shad with drum mixed in and some white bass. And that's what I pulled up. Eight, 9-inch, some 10-inch shad, some drum, some white bass, a little bit of everything. So you can see when they hit that channel, these species right here are often together. And that's what that looks like. They piled up in that channel trying to get comfortable. Moving on through. All right. What are we looking at here? Here we're looking at catfish. We're looking at some catfish, pretty decent catfish here. These are hard to tell because this one's stretched out. He's swimming this way, kind of stretched him out. This is a catfish, bony head, tail coming back behind him. Here's another one he's moving. These fish are active. And I'm fairly certain I got on these fish. Yes, I got on these fish. You can see this is what got me excited. Now, you can see on 2D, yes, there's fish here. You can't really determine how big fish are with 2D because a lot of times they spook. They leave when you're over them. So you don't really see the big ones. You just see the small ones. But what side image does for you is if you got side image, you can see these fish. Okay, here's a 25-pounder. You know, this is probably a teener. This one's wide. You know, I would say he's 20-ish. This is a good fish. He's on the move. Now, it looks similar to a gar, but it's got a real good shadow. He's laying on the bottom. That's more catfish. Looks more like a catfish. And I went over these, and I was on a live stream. I caught all 4 of these fish all at the same time. And I believe I've got a picture of those fish. There's the fish. So we nailed a 40, a 30, a 20, and a teener. And so looking at, and they all come off this side of the boat. And I called these fish. When I hit them, I called them on the live stream. I said, we're about to go over some good ones. When they do, it's all these rods on the right. It's the ones we're going to, dang it. All these rods on the right are the ones that are going to go down. So can't really see them on 2D, but you can see this is the 40. This is the 30. Now, I'm not sure which is which. I'm thinking this is probably the teener swimming, and that's probably the 20 laying in the mud. But we caught all 4 of those fish, and that's what's pretty cool about side image. You can see what you're catching. Over time, when you see it, then you catch it, then you know what you're looking at. So, and again, there's the fish. Now, here's bait. This is going to be probably right as the transition's happening, a little bit, maybe probably right around the fall transition, a little bit before. Water temp 71, 22 feet of water. And this thing keeps getting stuck. What we're looking at here is gizzard shad. This is right when the gizzard shads begin to start grouping up in the lake. Before the fall transition, they're really scattered, but you can see these are gizzard shad. These are 8-inchers. There's probably a little bigger one there. What's hit this? I'm not sure. You can see the waves are bouncing. It's hard to really determine. Probably, a buffalo, probably, I would say. These definitely scaly fish, super hard returns. But you can definitely start to see the difference between a scaled fish who's red, hard return all the way through the fish. This looks to me like a catfish. Red head, soft return on the body. Same here, red head, soft return on the body. And you'll start to see there is a major difference on 2D. And when you're looking at them on side image, here's what you're looking at. So you can see there's some decent fish all out in here. This is a piece of timber. This is bait, all this is the bait under the boat. You can see out here there's some decent size gizzard shad scattered around, and then very small shad all mixed in. This is a good size catfish. You wouldn't be able to see it on 2D. Only way you're seeing the fish like that is with side image. Otherwise, you go over this group and you're like, I mean, it's fishy, but I don't see anything really good. But if you got that side image, you start looking over here and you're like, huh, okay, well, there is this guy. He looks pretty interesting. I mean, there's some decent fish mixed in there. That one looks pretty good. So that's what I'm looking for when I start seeing this. Now I'm starting to look out here for big fish. Jamie, if you see any questions popping up, you relay them to me because all I have on my screen is these photos. So I'm
all right. Well, yeah, there's a couple, Chris, but I was gonna wait until you get done. Let me go back here. While you doing that, I'll go back and find a couple of them here that
Here's a pretty good fishy scenario right here. Lots of fish, a lot of activity. Hard to really tell what you're looking at. But one thing I do like is there's fish orienting all different directions. So you know they're not all just scaled fish, because scaled fish typically line up and all either move this way, that way, that way. They're not orienting all different. Catfish will start feeding kind of like pigs when they're chasing these shad. They're swimming over here, and they're coming over here. Then they're moving around like this. So I don't see any giants in here, but
Chris, you've got that picture pretty clear right there. How did you adjust your settings to kind of get what you're looking at right here? I've got a question about that.
On 2D, I'm generally, on side image, this is more than likely the sensitivity set around 12, 13. Contrast on this is probably going to be, I typically on my contrast going to be around 27 to 30. That's going to make these things pop out better and be more clear to your eyes. And then the sensitivity will make it crisp where it's kind of pops, you can see the shadows better. That's pretty much where I'm now. I do move it up and down from there, but I would say that's the base. I would say sensitivity 12, 13, contrast 27, somewhere right around that ballpark. Now, me and my son fished this, and we smoked like 6 20-pounders almost simultaneously. It was like one, and we take the picture, throw it back, and we get another one. It was like an hour straight of 20-pounders come out of this group, and the graph just looked like this for an hour. And that's what this is, teeners and 20s, teener, 20, 20, 20. And that's kind of what I'm looking for.
Chris, if I could, can I get you to maybe find that picture where it looked like boulders, like rocks on the bottom, and it was actually fish that was down in the mud almost.
Okay, was it on 2D?
Yeah, had a question about that one. Basically, how you were able to tell that it was not boulders and it being fish. I know you touched on it a little bit, but if we can clear that up where they can kind of.
Okay, let me see if I can find the one.
I believe that was, yes, that's it.
Okay, so the way you can tell is you're going to see some separation in between. Okay, like for instance, this is the head and this is the tail of the fish, and this is probably a really good fish because even the bone in the tail, but you can see it's kind of soft skinned, right? There's green on the outside of it. Mud doesn't do that. Okay. Now, I also fish this area constantly. It's a clean bottom. I also helps to know your fisheries. So over time, you're seeing this stuff. Now you can see right here, there's separation. This is not this doesn't happen naturally. It's just there's separation in between here. That to me looks like an air bladder of a big fish, possibly. Yeah. You go over here, you can see some stuff in between. Now, if this was just hard bottomed, now this somewhat looks like a hard bottom because you can see here's the bottom. It looks attached to this, but I believe this is two fish. I think there's probably a fish here and another one laying here. It's really hard to tell, but these are definitely big fish. And you can see there's separation right here. It's just there's a soft return of that soft belly of that catfish. And if you're dialed in on your graph, you can start to see just a hump or a rock laying on the bottom is not going to have soft stuff in between the rock and the bottom. It's going to just show rocks sunk down in the mud, if that makes sense. And you can see this is something soft coming off the back side of this thing, something soft coming off this way. I believe this is probably several fish. They're just laying in the mud piled up here. Some of the smaller ones are up off the bottom feeding. You know, you can see these are definitely smaller catfish. But these are big. These ones laying on the bottom are really big fish. And I fish this area of the lake a lot. It's just a mud flat. There's nothing there.
And this brings up a point, guys, that we're bringing you facts and breaking it down for you and showing you facts. Now, if this picture, say, was on Facebook, Chris, I think a lot of people would comment and misled in a lot of different ways. You know, by this way of you.
I'll tell you right now, when you're in an area like this and you're starting to see some bumps, this is just a mud flat. And if you're starting to see bumps, most likely those are fish, because if you're on a mud flat, what's bumpy about a mud flat? Do you see any rocks on your side image? I mean, there's not a single rock on side image. When you see let me show you the side image pic real quick. Okay, here's the side image. Let's move to side image. Okay, you don't see any rocks. You see fish. You see fish. These are fish. These are fish. If these were rocks, you would be seeing rocks on side image and they show a super bright return with a shadow behind them. There's a clear difference between rocks. If you're not sure what rocks look like, next time you're on the water and you're running your graph, go run up against a rocky shoreline. Go look. Another good thing is to look what you're seeing out on the shoreline and then envision that same stuff being down in the water. So if you're at the dam and you see all that riprap, look on your graph. You could definitely see it all. It's clear as a bell. So this right here is fish. And it's these fish right here. It's these, 30 pounders. So quite a few of them down there. They just laid up in the mud, probably not really wanting to bite. Big fish and small fish often work on different clock. I don't know why. They don't all typically bite at the same time. Sometimes all the little ones turn on and only the big ones don't bite. And then sometimes it's the vice versa. So you can get them to bite. These fish are laid up in the mud. You need to shorten your leaders. You need to go slow. But what I liked about them is they're sitting up underneath these balls of shad. And I don't know if they're feeding on the shad or if they're waiting for one of these little catfish to come swimming by and then they just eat them. They are cannibals. So big fish do like to feed on what's feeding on the bait. So,
all right, Chris, I got another question here for you. In different depths, are you making adjustments to your fish finder to help you out?
Definitely. I'm always making adjustments to help me out. So if I'm in muddy water, I'm adjusting the sensitivity. It's mostly just the sensitivity and the frequency that you're messing with while you're on the water. So if you're in real clean water, you're going to get a real clean picture. You can go with a higher frequency. You can go with more sensitivity. But if you got a lot of crap in the water, it's muddy, you've had rains, you got to dial down your sensitivity to filter out all the muck and clutter that's in the water. And you got to do a lot of adjusting to get a clearer picture. Here's a picture in the winter when I'm looking for bait. Okay. This is a deep hole. I'm looking for bait. I get here. I'm like, well, that don't look good. And, you're thinking, what are these? I know what these are because I catch these damn things in my net all the time. These are 12, 18-pound buffalo. Boom, boom, boom. This one's got an air bladder. You can see it. Boom. Now, there are also catfish in this picture. So there's some smaller catfish here. There's the bone in his head. He's facing his butt, his tail's facing that way. Here's one, his tail's facing that way. Here's one, he's facing that way. Here's another one. This line's kind of messing the picture up on those, but another catfish here. He's going this way. This to me is probably a hybrid. This looks like a good catfish. Bony head, soft body, small catfish, bony head, soft body, bony head, soft body. You get over here, some scaled fish. This scaled fish, probably hybrids, maybe. Hard to really determine exactly what kind of scaled fish you are looking at unless it's one of these buffalo who just sits there. Then you can definitely tell. Look at that. That's just a big, perfect silhouette of a buffalo.
Yep. Paul, are you talking about this picture that he's got up right now, my friend, or one prior to this one? Chris, because I think the question is I'm not sure if it was this picture or the one before.
Right, here's a boat, sunken boat.
In a situation like this, would you drag or spot lock or anchor up to fish that particular in this area?
I'm not sure which one he's talking about, but I drag all these areas. I don't typically spot lock fish unless I have to. And even then, I'll throw out the boards and spot lock into a big heavy wind and put my stuff like up on the bank and get out over the shoreline contours and fish them that way. Now, I do anchor. I still anchor, but my amount of anchoring has gone down more and more each year over the last 25 years. When I was doing it 25 years ago, that's all we did. Then we started right around the year 2000, we started drift fishing. It got popular. It had been popular in South Carolina for 20 years, but it really caught on in Texas. And right around the year 2000, that's when I started drifting. And then about 12 years ago, I started dragging with the trolling motor.
And I can tell you too, guys, you know, I was always a big anchor fisherman in the river. Even now today, I've actually backed off the anchor a lot in the river, and I'm doing a lot more dragging, and my fishing as far as catching fish is going up big time, even on the river.
That's another thing we'll talk about with advice. So I was told when I started drifting, that's just for pleasure fishing. You'll never catch good, you'll never do as well as the guy who anchors. Well, that's a load of crap, because if you can find fish in an area that's driftable, you catch just as many, or you can do better than a guy who's anchored. And when I started dragging, guys started saying, you troll for catfish, and then it would be followed with a laugh or a chuckle. They laughed at us who were trolling. So you troll for catfish, like that was something that was dumb or stupid. I said, yeah, we actually do, and it actually works pretty damn good. And, it was difficult at first, but I thought, man, I enjoy this a lot better than dropping anchors. So, I'm going to make it work for me. And I was like, I like the idea that I can hit structure now in a specific way. And I'm just going to use this. And the more I started dragging and the better I got at it, the less I anchor fished. And now the only time I anchor fish is when the fish go up into the forest and I have to anchor on them, or the threadfin spawn when they're up in a foot of water right up on the shore. I'll anchor on them then. But other than that, you can drag pretty much anything you could anchor in a lake.
Yeah. I've got a question here from Matt. Now when y'all drift, do you suspend the baits or put them on the bottom?
And I'm dragging bottom. When I first started dragging planer boards, I tried a little bit the way that Zach was doing it, because I had learned from him. I started planer boarding around 10 years ago, and he was suspending his baits. I went on a guide trip. My buddy moved to North Carolina, and we went fishing and just lucked in to fish with Zach, and he was using planer boards. And I had never even known about planer boards, and no one really had in catfishing. And it was before he caught the 2 records, and we had a pretty good day, and I thought, well, I drift fish, because he was selling the boards. I bought one set of boards. I was like, can I drag bottom with these? And he's fishing that canyon lake, so he's fishing those ledges. So he's dragging her out on those ledges suspended a lot. And I said, well, I drag a lot of mud flats and shoreline contours and stuff like that. He's like, well, I don't see why not. So I started dragging bottom, and it worked, But when I first started doing it, guys were laughing. What are those things? Are those you jugging? And I'm like, no, man, I'm dragging with planer boards. They'd laugh, But here it is, 10 years later. There ain't a boat on the lake now who's a catfisherman who don't have planer boards. So,
yeah, and Chris,
point of case, don't always listen to what somebody else it tells you. You don't need to do that, and you don't need to do this. If you want to try it, man.
That's it.
If it works for you, then use it. If it doesn't, keep moving.
And there is situations where you can adjust on your planer board, depending on the area that you're getting ready to drag. Chris, can we hit up on that a little bit, where we're talking about, okay, now we're going to go from more flat areas. We're getting into the big old stumps. We're getting into where the fish are holding up above that. How are these guys going to go through there, man?
All right. Well, if I'm fishing a stump field, right? Let's say this is the mouth of a creek. It's stumpy up in here. If I'm going to drag this, you can drag it. This is draggable two different ways. First I'm going to go through here, and I'm going to see how the fish are orienting. Now, on a certain day, the fish might want to be out here, and they might want to be here. Okay. Let's say you've had a big rain, and this is all flushed out of stuff. They might want to be out in here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scan this thing. I'm going to see where the fish are orienting to this piece of structure, because it's got a lot of cool structure here. You got a creek channel that's running in here. It's got a real deep deal. You got a long point that comes out here. Now, these fish could be anywhere. They could be on the bottom of this ledge here. They could be all lined up in this channel here. They could be up here on these points. They could be back here where there's flooded stuff coming out. So first you got to determine where the fish are, right? Now, the closer you get to the mouth of this creek, generally you're going to have timber sticking up out of the water.
Chris,
and that's not real doable, but we still fish it.
Are you showing the graph, Chris?
No, right now I'm showing this map.
Okay, because the map, I'm still seeing your picture that you had up earlier, not your map.
You're not looking at my map?
No, I'm seeing the picture you had up earlier of where the fish down in that.
What the hell? So I've been pointing my finger at something else this whole time. It's not even that. All right. Well, I'm sorry, guys. I've got two different screens up. So I've been pointing at a different damn screen.
Because I see where you're talking about the fish and stuff and dropping in on that last.
All right. Let me add a different screen. I can't believe that, man. I don't know how long I've been going on the wrong screen, guys.
You're good, bro. I was trying to figure out if you were showing it or.
Holy crap. Well, Jamie, you just talk while I figure out what the hell's going on here.
But yeah, guys, you can basically, if you're seeing catfish that's not on the bottom, you can adjust by your boards also and suspend some of your rods. But like Chris was talking about, when you're coming over structure, you can do the same thing too. You're going to have some of them fish that's going to be down, but you're going to have some of them that's going to be up. So when you bring in your board over, you can basically have that bait stuck straight up and down and not way out. So, and then also, I saw a question too. Can you drag in heavy current? Yes, you can. I drag in it all the time on the rivers. I use a lot of 10-ounce river weights that we have. to do that in also. So yeah, you can definitely drag in heavy currents. Let me
Having
go back.
technical issues, man.
Yeah, we thought our screen had frozen. Yeah. I'm trying to switch back and forth um, between Facebook and answer the questions on Facebook and YouTube here. Let me go through. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, Paul, going back to your question there, but yeah, actually dragging in a lot of heavy current can really pay off a lot of times. I know a lot of the guys, around here, they do a lot of the anchor fishing. As Chris was saying, you know, you don't see a lot of people here on the rivers dragging because we're using planer boards on the rivers just like you would be in the lakes, and people look at us like we're crazy by doing that. But like I said, we started catching a lot more fish, you know, catching blues and stuff a lot of times by doing that. Now my flathead fishing, I do a lot more anchoring up in a lot of heavy structure on the log jams and stuff. Um, but yeah, it really can work for you. And guys, if y'all have any questions what we've talked about so far, please put it in chat. I'm going back and forth from Facebook to YouTube. Well, now if you're dragging in real shallow water between 1 to 4 foot, of course, yeah, you can. I do shorten up my leaders a lot in 1 to 4 foot. If you don't, especially using floats and stuff, that bait's going pretty well. Your cork's going to be up on top of the water, so I do shorten up my leaders a lot. And I know Chris will probably tell you the same thing in that depth of water, because you definitely want to keep it down a little bit more.
Man, I can't figure out why this isn't pulling up now, Jamie.
You're good, brother. You're good, man.
I don't know what's going on, guys. Okay, let's see here. Present.
Yeah, Matt. I tell you, man, I would definitely give it a shot, brother, because like I said, I've caught some real nice fish by doing the rivers like that. And
I can't pull them up.
Ours are actually not. Some of the rivers here are not as wide as some, but I'll keep my planer boards. I can adjust them how far I want because we have a lot of guys, jet skis and stuff like that. So I'll have to keep them in a lot of times pretty narrow on the rivers. But definitely give it a shot, brother. Let me go back, guys. If I've missed any questions, I'm switching back and forth. I know.
Yeah, so I'm having technical difficulties.
Chris, in the 20-foot range on flats, how far behind the boards do you like?
How far behind my boards?
Yes.
I'm 20 feet. I cast it probably 40 feet. If it's windier, I try to get it out a little further. Big waves and stuff like that. So, you want to, when you're dragging, presentation is the beauty of dragging. You're presenting your bait in a natural manner. If it's directly under the boat and you're in waves, it's doing this. You'll get way fewer bites. If you got it back far enough behind your boards, when that board yanks, it's pulling that bait in a natural way instead of pulling it up with every wave. It's pulling it forward like a fish going into the wind. So if it's like Jeff said, if it's stumpy, you're going to shorten everything up, because if you're long lining behind your boards in the stumps, you're going to lose a lot more stuff. and it'll be where you don't even, I don't care what dragging weight it is, it's the hook that's getting hung. Because when you come over stuff, it slingshots that hook into the snag. So if it's stumps, a lot of times stumps are going to have debris on them. Like bass guys have been up in there, they've lost a lot of rigs. I've pulled a ton of bass lures out with a bunch of braid, like 30-pound braid on it, balls of mono. So if you're up in the stumps, you're almost suspending. So when it goes over something, it just goes over it instead of going over it and slingshotting it in. You'll just lose a lot more stuff if you're long lining, like Jeff said. So yeah, 20 feet depth, 40 feet of line behind the board, or, even more, it's not going to hurt you to put more out. You might get a few more tangles here and there, but it will smooth out your presentation.
Yeah, Matt.
You want to get those boards away from the boat.
Yeah. Matt, I do a lot on the big Great PD River. You're just right at the road right there in Wilmington. Probably, I know exactly where you're fishing there. You have pretty much the same stuff on that end that we have here, but yet you won't see a lot of people on that river up there doing the dragging and stuff. But I'm telling you, man, it does work. I do the Great PD River myself, and it's nothing but stumps everywhere, man. I mean, stumps like crazy, and we do pretty well with them, brother. Sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull these back up. I can't do it, man.
Let me go switch back to the other page.
Screen sharing was canceled. Make sure you click share on the model. I don't understand. I'm not capable, guys. I effed something up when I canceled something, and now I can't get it back.
Just answering some questions. He says, "See, Chris, I do pay attention fishing with you."
No, Jeff. I started helping Jeff out about 2.5 years ago, and he picked it up real quick. A lot of guys will not. He's one of those guys. I said, if you'll do, I'm gonna come show you. If you'll do this, it'll ramp you up a lot quicker. And a lot of guys just don't do it. They just want to. I don't know why. Some people are hard-headed. Jeff, he's probably hard-headed, but he's one of those guys that he did it, and it worked for him. He's had a lot of success really rapidly, which is not typical for trophy catfishing, I can tell you. Jeff catch 40s, 50s, 60s, first year or so. So,
Matt, this is the 10-ounce river weights that I'm talking about. Now, we do have these from 5 to 10 ounce right here, but these are the ones I use in heavy current on the Great PD River. So this is exactly what I'm using right here, brother. And I'm going to tell you also, even when I do anchor up, I'm still using these right here, man. So you don't get hung up as bad by using these as you would using straight lead, pyramids, and stuff like that. Because I like throwing around the log jams. I get into them, brother. And a lot of times, if I'm using lead, I'm not getting them back. But if I'm using these, I'm not saying it because we make these. I'm just trying to help you out on getting into where the fish are. This is what I'm using. And you will see a big difference in it, brother. So you can get down up in their hiding holes or all that area they like to get in. You can get up there with them and don't be scared doing it. Do we do guide trips? Not yet, but future maybe.
All right, I'm going to try to upload this one more time. So you keep talking, Jamie. I'm going to see if I can pull this up, man.
Pain in the ass. Photographs.
Appreciate that, Dan. I appreciate that, bro. But guys, I'm gonna tell you, don't be afraid to go and drag these areas, man, because where people they got that assumption that, man, I'm old school. I don't want to try this new stuff. I want to do what I do. Yes, it will work, but let's see. Oh, I thought you were bringing it up. But trying some of these new techniques will pay off for you. I promise you. Let me see about going back to the other one. Work with me, guys. I'm going back and forth answering questions here.
Jamie, I'm gonna back out. I'm gonna come back in, see if I can see if that fixes it.
All right, brother.
StreamYards has got issues right now.
And yeah, you know, like I said, guys, we were going to bring the truth to you tonight, the best we could of what we know on. And when we were talking about the graphs and stuff, and we'll go back where you see a lot of stuff on Facebook, you see a lot of stuff on YouTube. Now, there is a lot, like we said, there is a lot of great information out there on YouTube and other sources. But we want to show you and get in depth, like Chris was doing with the graphs, and show you what's bait fish, what's actually, catfish, so you can determine what's true and what's false. Let me go back to the other one here.
Oh, it's not gonna work, guys.
It ain't gonna work, brother.
It ain't gonna work. I don't know what I did.
And I tell you too, guys, we have a lot of what we call the old timers around here, and I've listened to them, I've talked to them, and they know their stuff. They've been around a long time, and it's funny because when we were talking about a while ago dragging the rivers, some of these guys, man, they sit there and they look at you like Chris was saying. People would laugh at you in the past when you were talking about drifting, using the boards and stuff. They would laugh at you, but now they're actually paying attention because proof is in the pudding. Chris is showing you pictures of all these PBs that him and Jackson's catching. You're seeing some great fish being caught by some of the things that we're talking about tonight. And it's just facts. It works. Old school
got
works.
flathead guys on the team, Jesse.
Yeah.
Got some damn good ones too. Got the Ladd brothers. Got who else we got? Jamie, the king of flatheads.
Oh man, I say Rebecca. She's hell of a flathead fisherman. I tell you, we got a lot of great ones out there, man. And I personally, I love doing the blues. She loves doing the flatheads, man. But they're a hell of a fish. They really are. I saw that Jody's in here. She does a lot of flathead fishing. Flathead Luke. Yep, there you go, Flathead Luke. I've seen that boy catch some good flatheads.
Yeah, we got some real good ones. Actually, we got let's see, Terry Woodrow. He's about as good as anyone.
Yep.
I'd say the Ladd brothers are high level flathead anglers. I think the Ladd brothers and Terry Woodrow, they freaking flat out smoke them, dude.
Terry's. I tell you, man, that man always. It seems like every day he's putting out some big fish picks, man.
He's freaking catching 40, 50 pounders every trip. It's crazy. And he catches like sometimes 10 or 15 of them. I mean, not that size, but it's like, man, you're catching big flatheads like I catch blues. Flatheads wish we had blues. Construction trade guys will start talking about how good they are at fishing till you pull the phone out. Well, a lot of times when you see guys giving advice, the first thing I do when I see somebody spouting off, I'm like, let me go check, because I don't know them. I'm like, well, let me go check their fishing status. And it's like scroll, 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 fishing post. It's like No, I don't know too many experts that are talking 50 posts of politics, some about eating dinner, and then one about a fish, and he's holding it out here like this.
Taking a 10-pounder, making it look like a 40.
I had to do it. Yeah, just look for good structure, and you got to know, kind of what they like.
Yeah.
Fish it.
Yeah, Jeff. There is a method to finding flatheads compared to finding blues that we like to use. I'm gonna tell you, I'll normally get right up on top of some structures to find the flatheads. It's something that you like, Chris. He's got his stuff dialed in. I mean, to 100% to see what you just saw. I've got my stuff dialed in because I change it when I go to the lake. I have my stuff set a certain way. When I'm on the river, I have my stuff set a certain way. Even color of the water. I fish a lot of muddy water. I fish a lot of brackish water, and I fish a lot of black water. So I'm always adjusting that thing, and definitely I've learned what to look for.
Yeah, that flathead fishing's a little different deal. You got to have a lot of patience. Got to be able to move a lot, change locations.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's blues is. I always say blues are a dime a dozen. Flatheads, they're tough. They're tough, man.
But if you're in a flathead river, you can go fish the same freaking piece of structure constantly and catch fish off of it. Now, you're not going to catch a bunch of fish off of it, but if you know that piece of structure holds flatheads, generally going to hold flatheads. Even when next time you go back, it's going to have. And even if you kept the fish, now none of my guys keep them, but even if you kept the fish, another one's going to move in right behind it because there's something about that piece of structure that they like. So if you find something, if you find an area where you catch some, you can go back to that same area and generally catch them over and over again.
Chris, I got some structures, man, I could go to and almost guarantee you we're going to catch a flathead out of that structure. And then I've got a lot of new areas. I could sit there and catch flatheads and blues out the same caught picking hole with no problem. No problem at all. That night that y'all saw myself and James on the boat fishing, that same spot, I can catch flatheads, I can catch blues out that same identical spot. And there's one tree behind the boat, but mostly where I'm catching the flatheads is right lined up with the lily pads on the side of the river. They like to hide under them lily pads to catch their prey.
I'm going to look one more time, see if I can get the stem graph back. Nope. It says photos. When I click on it, there's no picture. Don't get it.
Yeah, Jesse, that's the saying, move it every 30 minutes if no bites. I'm going to tell you, my friend, that's a lot of that's true. But sometimes I've got some areas and some holes picked out where I know, okay, they're going to be in this area more around a certain time. I have sit in some holes for an hour and caught my biggest fish out that hole by sitting an extra 30 minutes. Yeah, it's not as much, but the 30 minutes is normally the rule of thumb, but sometimes sitting a little extra can pay off too. Drop the coordinates. We're always showing Chris's depth finder. We're never showing mine. Do y'all see this?
Jamie's secretive. He's a river guy.
Well, with the tournament fishing and stuff like that, I kind of There's a lot of areas. Let's see here.
So hopefully you guys got some good tips, good information out of us tonight. Before my technical crap hit. I don't understand it, man. I don't get it. So one thing is when you do see these guys giving advice, look at their body of work, then decide whether you really want to believe them, because a lot of guys are just regurgitating something they heard somewhere, and it might not even be right. It might not work for you either. So the other thing is you just got to try a lot of this stuff. See if it's going to work with your style of fishing, or if it's something you even want to mess with. The way I fish, a lot of guys are like, I see why you do it, but I just, no way. It's too stressful.
Yeah, that's it. And that's, we knew tonight was going to be an excellent show, because, we were like, man, there's a lot of BS out there. There really is, guys. And you know us, we're going to bring it to you. We're kind of like the Jerry Springer. We're going to crank it up, man. We're going to get everybody all riled up. So but we're not going to shoot you a line of bull. We're going to shoot you what we know, what we can explain to you, what we can show you. And that's what we're trying to do.
Catfishing's gotten popular, and I think there's a lot of guys that have been doing it for 3, 4, 5 years, and they've got a little bit of success, and they think, I know everything, but I can tell you, there's nothing in the world where you can be an expert at it in 4 or 5 years. I don't care what it is. You have not put in enough time to do it. You can have a little bit of success and you can be decent at things, but if you're going to be a surgeon, you're not going to school for 5 years. If you're going to be a world champion NFL player, it don't happen in 5 years. There may be some freak of nature that does well, but Tom Brady started playing when he was, 7, 8 years old, so take that into consideration when someone's giving you information, is how long have they been doing it? And
that's the thing, man.
It's really worth listening to the smoke they're blowing.
That's it. That's
Here, there's a let me see if I can pull it up on my phone, because I really wanted to show this one picture, because this is what really sparked tonight's show. Is somebody had posted a graph picture, and it was all these different. They were asking, "What is this?" And there was 100 different comments on it. Right?
Somebody saying, "Don't do it, Chris."
There was 100 different comments, and this is the picture. So
it's just a picture, y'all. It's not the.
Somebody said, "What is this?" And it had 100 freaking comments on it. And there was only 3 guys that got it right out of 100 guys that commented to go tell this guy what all these fish were. There was only 3 guys that knew what it was. Out of 100 guys, 97 of them thought it was bait. We're telling them, "Oh, that's bait, man. You gotta you gotta get that. You can fill your cooler up." Well, there was a couple other guys that I know that were in there, and I was the first one that said, "Whatever you do, don't drop your net on that, because that's a bunch of 5-inch catfish." And bait doesn't show up like that. Bait shows up like that. That's bait. Those are catfish. And if these were other fish, they'd be scaled. They'd have a red return like those. So out of 100 guys, 97% of them didn't know what the hell they were talking about, giving all this advice. And so that's what sparked the show. And I certainly don't know everything, but I do know what that is because I've dropped my net on that enough to know you don't want to drop your net on that. You drop your net on that, it's a freaking nightmare. You're going to be mad because you're going to be picking baby catfish out of your net for an hour. Leland, you can drag shallow with no weight, definitely. You can definitely do that. I know a lot of guys that will do that. And even mid-depths, they'll drag with no weight. They'll put some stuff out behind the boat with no weight. And I don't do it, but I know some very high-level guys that do, and they tell me certain days those get all the action. So I've never done it. I've always dragged bottom. I just vary my depth on my leader length. A pond, yes, a year. A pond, hell, a day. You got a pond figured out, but lakes, no. And it's one thing going to your lake every week for 5 years. You might can figure out your lake if it's a decent, not too big of a lake, but even then, try taking what you learned there and duplicating that anywhere else. It's just different.
Jared, no, that's not true, brother. Flatheads don't only bite live bait, man. I've catch bukus of flatheads on cut bait, live bait, all kinds of stuff, man. But yeah, you can definitely catch some big flatheads on big cut bait also, brother.
Let me add Jamie to the screen here. First Jamie.
What's up, buddy? Man, I see you got your stuff. They're ready to go catch you some PBs.
Hey, buddy. Did you take your bath?
Yeah, I took a shower.
Okay. Hey, go get yourself ready for bed.
Let's see here. Chris, somebody was asking, can you tell if those are channel cats or?
Looks to me like blue cats. A lot of times channel cats will be kind of balled up when they're that small. See channel cats, if you'll ever see a ball of them in open water, they're in a ball. When they're that big, they ball up. It looks like a big pile of popcorn on your graph. To me, those were blue cats. There was probably a few channels mixed in, but those are 5-inch blue cats. This year's hatch, spring hatch.
Jesse, you said he's up there where you're at, and y'all don't have blues. Am I reading that right?
I know a lot of guys catch them on cut bait.
Yeah.
Guys here in Texas catch them on live bait, but
yeah, Chris.
Way, a lot of guys catch them on cut bait. Just
yeah.
We don't ever. I mean, I do catch them occasionally on if I'm using bluegill, but not generally on shad. Why? Hell, I don't know. My buddy Jeff catches some. He fishes up around a creek mouth a little more than I do, but.
Yeah, Jesse, Chris just broke that down, how you can go through and basically tell the difference in those two. So near York, Pennsylvania is where that was.
Other thing I'm going to tell you guys is don't compare yourself to other anglers. There's nothing that'll rob your joy more than trying to measure yourself up against somebody else. Just do you, try to improve, try to get better. There's always going to be somebody better than you. Yeah, you want to try to get better. And, something in human nature, you're always going to want to measure yourself. I did it for years. I always wanted to beat whatever guides on the water that day. And eventually I did that. But I also realized that I ain't them. They're on the water every day. I'm going to do me. And I'm not trying to catch a bunch of fish for my clients. I'm trying to catch some big fish for me. I realize the way I fish is not how everybody likes to fish. I would rather catch one giant than, 50 5-pounders. That's just me. Some guys just want a little bit of action. They get a little bit of action. That's a success. Over time, it's painful unless I get a good fish. That's my measuring mark. Is get something good. So Jeff said he ordered a lifetime supply of Carolina lake weights. He got 20.
He did, brother. He won't have to order no more for a long, long time.
Well, Jamie had given me four or 5 packs when they went to the Gen 2s. Now we got Gen 3s. I still got them all because I'm running the Gen 1s. And I'm like, well, I probably should be running my signature weights. I got to, I'm going to do some giveaways, I guess, for the old Gen 1. I still got Gen 1s and Gen 2s. So,
yeah, I tell you, Chris, everybody, that's what we love. Everybody is getting the new ones. And we were talking earlier today, man, about how, wow, man, it's been going wild since we've switched over and went to complete lead BBs now. And it's been going crazy, man, at the amount. And I'm sitting here and I told Rebecca, I said, you know what? I said, everybody's getting stocked up. And then it's going to slow down because, Chris, he'll tell you, and a lot of people tell you, hell, I'm not losing them that much. And I'm like,
yeah.
Man.
I told you when I first started using them, I'm like, these things are incredible, but I don't know that you've made yourself a good business model here because nobody's going to need to re-up. I mean, but one thing that's good is they really work. So whoever uses them wants their friend to try them because they work that good. And then they end up giving a 5-pack away to their buddy, and then their buddy has to buy them. So he buys 20, and, it's an ongoing thing of new guys buying them, giving them away.
Corey said that he bought 15 last year at CatCon, and I still got 15 I bought at CatCon last February. So, I mean, hey, brother, that was, I believe, the Gen 2s. Now we got
the Gen 2s come out. They got the name on the sleeves.
That's it. And now we got the Gen 3s with the names on the sleeve and all new lead BBs now.
Single row of lead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And we've heard some good things about them. We've talked with some people, and they are very impressed with what we've done. That's for sure.
Patrick says he gives away more Carolina lake weights than I use. I had a whole box, Patrick, that somebody freaking took off of my boat when I was at the gas station up at Highport, Lake Texoma. It was like an entire box of those freaking things. So,
yeah,
even drug addicts want
them. Jess, Chris, a lot of people basically every weekend pretty much. I haven't been able to fish that much myself from Becca because we've been so busy in the shop. But yeah, man, the proof is in the pudding, guys.
They work good in stumps, Leland. Where I've hung up when I'm in stumps is when there's like branches coming off of them, and it's the hook because I'll snap that branch off and I'll bring it back, and it's got the hook in the branch. So there's ways that we've figured out how to limit some of that, but when you're up in the stumpy stuff, there's a lot of good fish up in there. So, that's the sacrifice I used to sacrifice all my rigs sometimes up in there. Now I've never broken off all my rigs since I switched to Carolina Lakeweights, and it used to happen pretty often.
And we're working on some other stuff, guys. We're not going to be releasing it right this second, but we're releasing some stuff in the future that's going to make it even better. I'm just telling you that there is some things coming down the pipeline that we're excited about. Chris, he already knows about it, that we're finally going to probably let that out in the public sometime down the road. So there is more coming that's going to help you in all directions. Appreciate, man. Look, there's the balloons again, brother.
I did something. Was that me? The balloons hit me?
I saw it in my picture.
Oh, something you did.
I don't.
Well, Rebecca was giving us
yeah, there you go.
I wonder why mine doesn't work. Bull crap, man.
Let's see here.
So Nubby found us from Facebook. He's over from Facebook. Now he's on the YouTube side. Welcome in, bro.
Yep. And guys, I want to mention also, guys, too, if you don't have us on all the social medias, you can find Carolina Lakeweights on YouTube under Carolina Lakeweights. Go over there, watch a video, give us a thumbs up, and subscribe. I mean, I hope you enjoy some of the stuff over there. Find us on TikTok. We do a lot of shows during the day on TikTok. Do some shows over here at night. And Chris, where can everybody get you, brother?
I'm going to start doing more content this year. Last year, I did more helping for friends and guys that wanted to learn. This year, it's going to be more about my son. So we'll live stream all that. It's fun live streaming with him because he's wild and it's fun watching him catch them. But I'll be honest, I sacrificed a lot to help other guys last year. It took away from my son. So this year, I'm still going to help guys. I'm still going to take other guys, but there's going to be some ground rules this year on my boat with keeping my son involved because you guys know when you got new guys on the boat, they get really excited. They want to catch fish, and they leave the kid out. And for me, he's a big part of why I'm out there doing it. So I want it to be more about him than anything. So I'm going to be selfish this year, guys. It's going to be the Action Jackson show this year on our boat again. So that's the way we're going to do it. We're going to be live I'm going to probably still go live on YouTube. I may do a little TikTok, see how that goes. We're going to start putting out videos and content again. We've managed to keep growing just off the slime show. I think we're up to almost 2,200 subscribers, which is not a lot, but it's, grown organically through here. We don't get any real support from the community besides Jody. The other guys, they toot each other's horn, but for whatever reason, they don't like me and Jamie, and that's all good. So,
and guys, definitely, if you're on Chris's, go over to Carolina Lakeweights because we're still about 666.
Oh man,
still there, bro.
I'm gonna come unsubscribe, dude.
So come and show us some love over there, guys.
Oh man,
we gotta get that. We gotta get that black. We gotta get that black ball that we somebody gave us that black ball. You know what I'm talking about, Chris?
Yeah.
We gotta get that thing out of here.
Yeah, it's but hey, we're kicking ass on Facebook and the show's doing well. It's just the YouTube side we get a few hundred views, the Facebook side we get 1,000. So
I had to, man.
I had to. We got anglers. We got real anglers. That's what really the show's about. So
yeah,
it's good to help our people. I'm glad that it's a good group we got. You know, Jeff Martin, Pontoon Jody, Eagle Eyes Tienda. Don't know Nubby, but hopefully Nubby will be back. We got Leland. He's an Operation Vets with Nets guy. Patrick Gilliland, awesome angler. You know, so setting hooks and crossing eyes. Starting to get to see him every week. So, you know, the list goes on and on. The Micah Burkharts, you know, it's just we get to see a lot of the same guys every week. We got about 40 people that continually come back, and we'll never be a big popular show, and that's fine.
I don't know, Chris. In my eyes, we are, brother. Well, I tell you what, man.
Another one of my brothers. So
we're getting ready to crank it back up, guys, and I'm gonna tell you, you want to stick around because I know Chris is definitely getting ready to start cranking things up. We got some good tournaments coming up, guys. Like I said, I know we haven't been on as much, and that's okay. But we got some good tournaments coming up. The 21st, we got a night tournament down in Santee Cooper coming up. But, you know, myself and Rebecca, we will be getting back out there as much as we can. We just don't get to do it as much as we used to. We apologize to everybody for that. But it's well worth it right now, guys, because we're building Carolina Lake Weights. We're building Carolina Custom Apparel. So there's a lot of work behind the scenes right now, but we're happy for everybody that's using our products. We love y'all guys sharing out on our Facebook group page and our Facebook, sharing out what you're catching off of all of our products. We love that, guys. Thank you so much for supporting us. And like I said, I know Chris is getting ready to start catching some monsters. Him and Jackson, they getting ready to crank it up, guys.
About to be on, baby.
It's about to be on, brother. I promise you.
Yep, it's our time here in Texas. We got about another month. We had a good little cold snap, not cold snap, but we had a little front blow through with some rain, so it gets me excited. It's almost time here for us. So we're going to keep it like we always do. We're going to try to help our like-minded anglers. We're going to have fun doing it. We'll have a lot of kids on the boat. We'll do a lot of Operation Vets with Nets trips whenever we can. And we'll just stay slimed up.
Heck yeah, man.
Jamie, anything you want to promote before we get out of here?
Man, don't forget, guys, definitely go check us out at CarolinaLakeWeights.com. Get you some of the new Gen 3 drifting weights if you haven't already got them. All lead BBs. Good stuff over there. Don't forget the new EVA 3-inch peg floats is now in stock. Go get you some if you hadn't. And guys, like I said, stick around. We're going to be releasing some more new stuff real soon. Some of the stuff's going to wait probably until maybe after the shows or right before the shows before we release those items. But definitely go over and check us out.
Jared, I use a Demon Dragon Brute with a 10-inch bait in the winter. Double hook rig. It floats them fine. I've tested it. They float great. It might not in current, but I'm in a lake. Jamie's got a 5-inch Demon Dragon style. It'll float a big bait.
Yep. That's them right there, guys. We got 4s and 5-inch.
They'll float a big bait. Put your bait up close to that float. You'll know if you're not floating it because you'll be hung up a lot. Your hook will be hung up in whatever's on the bottom.
Yep. And the EVA floats will work also too, guys. You know, that's them right there.
Well, hopefully we can get to fish together this year, Patrick. I mean, I know it's kind of a drive for you, but it's about an hour and a half for me to Texoma. We can meet up there on the weekends, man. You're welcome to jump on and have us a good old time, buddy. Walt said the EVA floats work as well.
Yep.
All right. Well, killed a bit Whoa. Nubby said he got bit by a copperhead Sunday afternoon.
There is a lot of that going around right now, guys.
Dang, those are
Yeah.
nasty.
Yeah, they are pretty rough around here. I know our season, far as hunting season, has started up, and I can tell you guys, I have myself seen just this past Saturday, probably 7 this past Saturday. So be careful, because they are definitely out right now.
Man, these copperheads will light you up.
Yeah, they sure will. And I tell you, if you're not looking for them real closely in some leaves and stuff,
I
you
stepped right on them, and they didn't. I mean, they're not super aggressive.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like they give you any warning either. They're silent. I stepped right on them and lifted up and saw it's like smashed with his mouth open, like small one. You know,
Yeah.
lucky I didn't get bit. A
I
lot
wear,
of people get bit out in the yard, like
Yeah.
reaching down into the pulling weeds and stuff.
I wear a lot of snake boots when I'm right now, especially this time of year. And I'm gonna tell you, if you're around a lot of water, I see a lot of cottonmouths right now in the swamps right now also.
Yeah, we got those bad here too.
Oh man, them bad boys hit you, you'll know it for sure.
And they're not scared of a human. They'll come
No.
right at you.
No, they'll make you talk some language you ain't never talked before.
Setting hooks and crossing eyes says always afloat? Question mark. Not sure what that means.
Do you mean always using something that's gonna float your bait up, or?
I do.
Yeah, for sure.
Only time I'm without float is if I'm fishing up in a foot of water. 2 foot of water, I'll Carolina rig them.
Oh, they'll make you lose your religion for sure. I promise you. You'll speak
for 2 days, man.
You'll speak a language they hadn't even invented yet.
That's one thing. Poisonous snakes. They scare me, man.
I can't stand them. I mean, if you want to see a fat boy run, you just take a little green snake and throw at me.
I'm okay with non-venomous snakes because I can tell the difference. But when I see poisonous one, they freak me out.
I've been at a tree stand before, and I wouldn't come out until somebody come in there and get me, make sure that thing was gone. Them old rattlers, man, they something else.
Yeah, when I was a kid, there was a cove I lived right next to the lake. There was a cove, and I was fishing on that cove one day. I looked, there's a beaver dam, right? Beaver hut. I'm standing on top of that thing, casting my spinner baits. I looked down, and there was those water moccasins were breeding. You know, they like ball up, and do like scary looking shit, man. They were in the middle of that beaver hut, balled up, and so I got the hell out of there. Well, I went around the cove, and I see another guy come along. He's a grown man. He's up on top of that beaver hut, and it's all like driftwood and stuff, you know. He comes crashing through that thing, and I swear he walked on water. I've never seen it. He freaking walked on water to get away from that ball of snakes, and those snakes were just coming out from every direction. I don't know how the hell he didn't get bit, but
wow,
man, I wish I had that on video because that was crazy.
I tell you, you could stick a fat boy in the Olympics if you'll put a snake behind him, and that's me. I could win that bad boy. I promise you. Man, Chris, I tell you, another good show, man, breaking down, going through the graphics, man, showing people what to look for.
I only got about halfway through my list because I had some others. I wanted to show what big fish look like. I didn't get to that, so.
Oh, heck yeah, man.
Yeah, Best today, my buddy, I told him, hey, today looks like might be a big fish day up, go kind of shallow up around the creek mouths. And that's where he went. And he's like, man, I barely marked a fish. He's like, I marked a bunch of gar. I was like, well, I mean, big fish like to be around gar, but he's like, no, not today. They didn't. So well, sorry, I guess I gave you some bad advice. So he needed Jackson with him.
That's it, man. And like I said, man, I hope tonight's show helps a lot of people out. Being able to tell the difference in what's nonsense, what's the truth, and writing that book and having your own book that you can go by on that is going to work for you. You know, that's the
I
biggest
think
thing.
that's the biggest thing. We'll find out what works for you. We're not all built the same, and we all don't want to fish the same. And I do think it's cool when I find a guy that likes to fish similar to me. We get, that's cool to fish with that kind of guy. I do like that, but it's not all of us fish the same. So it's cool to come across somebody that's like-minded or thinks
That's it.
is willing to work their ass off like I do.
And Nubby, also, brother, keep in mind what water, how much currency stuff you got, depending on what size drifting weights you might need, brother. So we've got everything from 1 to 10 ounce. But if you're in a lake or something, you might want to go to a 10 ounce. I'm not 10 ounce, but a 2 ounce, maybe a 3 ounce. But if you're in heavy moving current, a 10 ounce is going to be good for you. And we have all of that. So, I don't know, like I said, I don't know what area you're fishing, but definitely keep that in mind when you're ordering the weights also too, my friend.
So, when you're using weights in the lake, you're wanting to use the lightest weight possible that will pin your bait down. What's going to determine the weight? Generally, a 2 ounce will pin most things down for me in 40 feet or less. When I get in deeper, bigger water, bigger waves, I have to go to a bigger weight to pin it down. Otherwise, it's like porpoising off the bottom and doing weird stuff, and you won't catch nearly as many fish like that because there's something about having a smooth presentation when you're dragging that will dramatically not only increase your fish catch ratio, but you'll also snag less. You'll be hung up less.
Yeah, if you're fishing the Cape Fear, for sure, 8 to 10 ounce is going to work for you for sure. I know depending on what area in the Cape Fear, I know some of that water runs pretty good, and some of it's a little bit more in the shallower part. You might not need a 10 ounce, but between the 8 to 10 ounce is going to work for you up there for sure, my friend. And I will tell you, you'll probably be I don't know, it's been a long time since I've been up there. You'll probably be one of the only ones dragging that area pretty much. A lot of people sets up and anchors up in that body of water.
Yes, I only got about halfway through my pictures before I screwed something up and I couldn't get them pulled back up to share the screen. So I've got a bunch more. I didn't even get into the big fish stuff. I wanted to, because a lot of guys ask me, how do you know fish size and, species of fish that you're looking at when they're big? So I had some stuff up, and I actually got a screenshot of some side image from up shallow when I saw some crazy crap last October up shallow. I had a 70 pounder that was right around the boat that was swimming around this pile of carp, and there was a little bit of everything up there. There was carp, a lot of carp and a lot of sand bass, and I had a 70 pounder that was swimming around the boat, and he was circling those fish, and every once in a while he would explode through that ball. I mean, I guess he was kind of like corralling them, and then he would swim in there real fast and blow up through the top of it and just go out of the water. I've never really seen a blue cat act like a damn orca whale, but this thing did it about 4 or 5 times, and I got side image pictures of the fish. It's
Chris,
crazy cool.
I tell you something, that if you could this week we get that stuff up, we could continue a part 2 of
let's do it. I've actually got my graph. I put a chip in there last year when when guys were asking a lot about big fish what you're looking, what makes you want to stop. So I've got all my marks, it takes a screen capture. I'll go out there to the graph and I'll pull that card out of there. And I know I'll have some damn good ones from last year's fishing.
Yeah, so that would be an excellent continuation, part 2 of the show, man, for sure. I mean, because I see a lot.
I'd never seen now I've seen blue cats during the shad spawn. I've seen them get airborne and go up on shore chasing bait and have to like shimmy their way back down into the water. I mean, that's not super common, but I've seen it enough to know that they do corral fish that way. So it was cool to see that. And when that fish would explode through the center mass of that bait ball, that bait would just freaking go airborne all around that thing. It looked
Chris,
like National Geographic, man.
I know before we end the show, I saw a question earlier, and also this is going to this also is going to help you too when you're doing this in heavy current. Having the right board get you. I know some of the parts planer boards for the river. Make sure you got the right planer board to help you with that too, brother. So Parks Planer Boards has
4 or 5 different boards. Yeah. If you're going really big, they make one that's giant for suspending huge baits in current, and you'll need that one. They've also got just what they call the river board, and I think it'll suspend really big baits. But they got one that'll suspend giant freaking monster baits.
Because I can tell you, having the right board is going to make a world of difference. Also, that way, then boards, the Parks Planer boards work very well in the rivers, and that board he's talking about will definitely set you up and hook you up, and it'll be the deal for you. Because a lot of the boards sometimes out there are so light, man, they're sitting there flopping out in the water and all this other crazy stuff, and it's not going to help you at all. But get you some Parks Planer boards for the river.
Yep. If you'll get a hold of me on Messenger, I can get you in contact with Kevin. He'll give you a big discount. Find me on Messenger or message me. Get a hold of me. I'll give you his cell number. Well, guys, appreciate everybody stopping in. Jamie, good times, bro.
Yes, sir, my friend. Good times. It sounds like can't wait until next week already, man. I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to get September over so we can really start getting on them good. So appreciate everybody that stopped in. I hope you guys picked a few things up that might help you. If not, well, we had fun anyway. So Dan, you're late, bro. We had a good show, so we'll see y'all next time.
Have a good one, guys.
God bless. Azul out.